It's coffee break time, everybody. Hope you got your Joe. Whatever you have. Hey, happy Sunday, happy Easter.
Robbie's rules.
Happy Easter.
Morning, Robbie. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
I've been baking loaves today.
I saw them.
So I got some loaves of bread cooling down on my stove.
Please don't talk about bread.
I just had some dinner myself.
Ask me in a month when I'm out of yeast.
But you said you didn't have any
I
fish,
will
but
tell
you.
Why it is I don't want to talk about bread.
Oh no!
We go.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah.
He went to go get his.
Yeah.
Yeah. No fish. So, but I'll tell you what. The smallest roast pork that the store had this week was 4 pounds.
Oh wow!
So that's the smallest one, and I'm the only meat eater in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So
4 pounds. That's not a problem.
I say smoke that. I say smoke that puppy up and go for it. Absolutely.
Oh, you know what? It's sitting in the slow cooker. It's sitting in the slow cooker on low.
That's how it should be right there.
Yeah, so that it's going to be that and a loaf of bread, So just to sop up the gravy. You know how that goes.
So today I'm actually having a break during our coffee break. So I was out driving today. I bought myself. Someone was selling used flatbed server that I just bought. So,
is this the one that you were talking about? The $150? Yeah, $150 Dream server thing with 96 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, I was misreading.
Wow.
It's 64, but still that's
64. Okay, dude.
Oh,
you know how? Do you know how this makes me feel? I mean, I've got the rack in the studio, and I'm looking for, like, I'm on Amazon. In my cart, I have a server chassis that's $250 already. You know, that's just the chassis. Then I've got the drive cage to be able to hot swap drives is another $111, and so you're talking $150 for a server with 64 gigs of RAM. And how many hot swap bays are included in that? Like 6 or something like that on those ones?
4 on the
4.
one I got. Yeah. There is two drives in it, 72 gigs each. So
did you say you were driving down the road when you discovered this deal?
No, it was online. So it was the Norwegian. It's version of eBay.
Well, yeah, you just have to find a second one for Robbie.
Yes.
And get it there.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I think shipping would be kind of brutal.
It has 2 CPUs with 4 cores.
Yeah.
Each, so and the 2 PS.
That's unreal.
So
I gotta find me a deal like that, because what I need is I need a storage unit, basically with hot swap bays, because we're always running out of storage at the studio. And I thought about just swapping the drives in our old Dell. What is it that I have, Bill? Do you remember? I think it's an R510 or something like that. Just a little. I think
you have a 510
unit. Yeah. So it's an okay server, but I'd like to have something that's just dedicated storage rather than also virtual appliances and also my, everything else running on it. Because I find, sometimes it's not the best performance. So but I'm a dreamer.
What's the Solbu?
You gotta have a dream.
Yeah, Solbu's over there living the dream.
There you go.
Yeah.
Solbu, what's the story?
Yeah.
I just saw Ron there. Ron, what did you changed your monitor setup or something?
Actually, I'm on my computer. That's my wife's computer.
Oh, you're looking the other way.
Yes.
Okay.
Same office, looking the opposite direction.
So you got like a full immersive surround sound in there, or are those ones for her computer?
I do. I have 5.1 surround in here.
Very nice. Yeah. So you got the speakers behind them too.
Yeah.
Very cool.
VPN, you were trying to say something.
I just wanted to know, Solbu, what was the story behind that server that you picked up? Do you know what the history of it is?
Well, it was a white van down by the river
I literally fell off the back of a truck then, huh?
Yeah. No,
Nice.
he said in the ad posting that it has been used as a VMware server in a data center, and this was the last unit he had left.
Yeah.
So.
That's
Brilliant.
just the kind of stuff where you need to be in the right spot at the right time to be able to pick up. You know.
Yeah, my friend with a big radar, I tipped him, appointed him to an ad in the county next to him, where someone was giving away a rack shelf, the big house where the blade servers are put in. He was giving away two. And he called the guy, and he has just gave it away. So
Unreal.
So
and the listing, Solbu,
it's about finding the listing at the right time.
Yeah,
of course.
But the listing that you showed us also said that it included the 19-inch server rack rails.
Yeah.
In addition to the server.
Yeah, it's still screwed on the side.
Yeah.
So I can just have if I
tack another $150 value on there. Yeah. That your expense was worth just the rails.
I picked up a server for 30 quid. It's actually from Wales. It was an ex-server, a file server, a Reliance one, and I got that for 30 quid. But it was only limited to about 5 gig of 5 terabytes of space on it.
Wow.
But it was we had it as a books file server for books, audio books, which is ample. 5 gigs, 5 terabytes is ample for a book server. We feel one of them quite easy, me and my wife. Because we have a lot of audio books,
That's cool. Yeah. Good deal. 30 quid. Wow.
But the best bit was it didn't work. I got another one, and I got the first one to work. So I got 2 in the end.
Awesome. Got backup parts.
Oh yeah,
that's right. That's what it was all about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have just installed the Debian on it and configured a few things. So I installed the 2 drives. I've configured them as a RAID one, and I have the LVM on them. So
cool. Now it has 2 Xeon processors, and so do you have to pay your electricity bill, Solbu?
Yeah.
Watch out for that one.
Yeah, it says on the back that it's using a little over 300 watts.
Mine had a Xeon in it as well. I think mine had a Xeon in it as well. Only had 1, didn't have 2. Had 1. But it was all right for what we wanted it for.
Yeah.
I got a couple spare one somewhere, a Xeon one somewhere. Don't know where it is, but it's in a box somewhere. In some file. I got rid of it. Stop it, get your shorty down, static,
And then when I was starting it up, and I had an alarm that I have never seen before. It was complaining that the second power supply unit did not have power.
Oh yeah, you only had one of the power cables going in.
Yeah, I don't need another one yet.
Use the failover as a replacement.
You remember that bit I said to you one time, Robbie, that computer part I said to you with all those little drives in? That was part of it. Can you remember that about a year ago?
What was that, Peter?
I sent you a thing in the post, remember? They had about 5 minutes small drives on it, remember?
The SAS drives?
Yeah, that's right, yeah, something like that.
Yes, yeah, I do remember, yeah.
And that was part of it.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
cool. So that's where those came from.
Yeah, I think that's what we did really want to, We put proper, the drives in,
Cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of power and backup power, again, my friend with the big red array, 18 years ago, He was living. He was attending high school, and he lived in his local city, in the city, and near his parents. He had a UPS that held his computer up for 45 minutes, I think. And it was set up as a server. It was the first server we had. And then the power went out. The whole county lost power for 7 days. But after the power being gone for 30 minutes, he walked across the street to a local computer shop where he knew the guys at the counter. And he borrowed 2 UPSs that had a combined backup power for 8 days, and the power was out for 7. So he was the only one in the entire county who had a working computer.
Unreal.
And he had internet access, so the ISP had their own backup, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, at work we've got. Remember how Bo was talking about how Ameridroid has this giant UPS system hooked up to their mains?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got something like that at work. So it's like in the server room, giant unit that's connected directly to the panel. But then on the roof, we've also got a diesel generator. So as soon as the power goes off, the UPS kicks in and it powers all the outlets in the place. And then the diesel generator comes on. So the UPS is really only there for the 10, 15 seconds it takes for the diesel to kick in. Yeah. And then the diesel just will run and run and run. And it, I don't know how they even, it has some kind of direct feed for gas. I don't know how that works.
Well, I was going to say until the diesel runs out.
But it doesn't. They don't ever have to put diesel in it. So they must have gas lines coming in for the diesel, because unless it's propane or maybe natural gas. I could be wrong about it being diesel. It could be a natural gas unit.
I saw in our documentary about the Sears Tower in the middle of U.S. Somewhere. They have in the basement, I think, they have 2 diesel locomotive engines to provide backup power for the entire in the entire building,
Wow.
70 floors or what it is. And if the power runs out, those 2 diesel engines can supply power for 2 whole days.
And that's not a well-known fact either, by the way. What you would think of as a diesel locomotive that runs on the railway lines, not actually pure diesel. It's diesel electric. It's the electric motors that run that drive the drive wheels that move the thing forward. The diesel is only there to supply electricity. There must be batteries involved there somewhere. So the diesel runs,
they're hybrids.
Load up the batteries, and then the batteries drive the electric motor. The electric motor drives the actual drive wheels of the locomotive.
It's just the generator for the motors.
Yes, correct. Yep. That's pretty impressive. Go ahead, sir.
But did you know that Chernobyl run? You remember the thing on HF used to get click, 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 which was over the horizon radar. Well, they had an array outside Chernobyl. They were using the Chernobyl generator, the one that blew up, to drive that thing, and it was about half a mile long, and it's full of arrays of antennas, and it was used for Russians were using it for over the horizon radar. And I don't know how many watts they're pumping in it, but it was very loud. You don't remember the burble we used to get on HF when you used to, sometimes it's called interface, bip, 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 bip. Well, that was Chernobyl, run up at Chernobyl. It had the nuclear power station on the end of it. So I wonder why it's bloody loud, you know.
Yeah, well, what's also interesting about the Chernobyl plant that blew up, it's not that many years ago that it was still operational. Almost 20 years after it blew up, it was still providing power in the remaining reactor.
I didn't know that.
But no one is allowed to live in the city since 85 or when it was. So.
All right, Mr. Robbie, I have some geekery to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Lots more geekery, because
Good.
I'm good at geekery.
Yes, you
Let's
are.
see. Thank you. I appreciate that. I have been researching the PineTime some more, because
Okay.
I've been trying to figure out how the hand movement should work, and I think it's okay to let the second hand just go click, 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 and I think it's okay to let the minute hand just go click, click, click for each minute that ticks by.
Yeah.
But I can't do that with the hour hand, because if I did that with the hour hand, it would go from 12 o'clock
Oh,
and then
right.
jump
Yeah.
straight to 1 o'clock, and then jump
Interesting.
straight to 2
Yeah.
o'clock, and then jump. I can't do that with the hour hand, so I have to. It would look pretty. It would look pretty
That would be
janky.
like-
So
yeah,
I can't
that would
have
be,
that. Yeah, I can't. So I'm going to have to figure out where probably every. I think what I'll do is update the hour hand every 5 minutes, just because it's a 60-minute, and 12 hour and all that. So every 5 minutes seems to be appropriate. So I think what I'll do is update the hour hand position every 5 minutes. So that's probably going to be something like
That's about right, because if you did it even fast, you wouldn't see it. The movement of the outside would be too small.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like, yeah. So is there a reason, BP9, that you couldn't update it like on regular, like, I don't know, 10-second intervals? Like, is it going to take too much power that the PineTime can't handle it, do you think? Or are you just trying to really severely optimize it so that it's really, really smooth?
I think we lost BP9.
Did we lose him? Oh.
His image is frozen. He's smiling at least.
We'll just pretend that he's ignoring
Yeah,
my
he's
question.
gone.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for BP10 to show up.
It's incremental.
Yeah.
BP 9.1.
Updated version.
Yeah. The firmware has been updated.
Yeah, I remember a friend of mine, he and his wife, when they got their first child, I congratulated him with an upgrade. He almost fell off his chair laughing.
Yeah. So you guys doing anything?
And he also named him, the name he gave him is the name of a famous Norwegian pop song. And he has never heard of the song before he named the child. So he was pleased when I gave him a copy of a CPT of the song. It was made in the 80s, and people are still singing it. And the artist is still playing it on gigs and show. So, and he had never heard it before. I think that was fun.
Oh yeah.
And he's back.
Anybody doing anything like for Easter where you're using technology to be able to, like, is anyone doing any Zoom family gatherings or anything like that? I've seen some people are doing those kinds of things.
Our Bible Fellowship is doing a phone conference where everybody in the fellowship is not quite up to Zoom level, so we're looking to possibly do future meetings with Zoom, but I'm going to actually be the IT consultation person and kind of call each person, see what kind of devices they have.
Oh yeah.
And see and talk them through the process to be able to log on and use Zoom. So
cool. Yeah, one thing I like about Zoom is that it is really, really simple to set up, and they get a lot of flack for that. Amazingly, it's too easy. They're working around security and stuff like that. Well, no, it makes it really simple.
Only one complaint about the client. Only one complaint, and that is for recording meetings. Yeah, it's not possible, at least on the Linux side. It's not possible to save the password and reuse it, so you don't have to
save the password.
Yeah. So
how come you can't do that on? You can't do that on Android either.
So
BP9's back.
From watching this, please make it so we can save the password.
But do you need the password? Like, you guys don't need to enter the password when you click the link on our website, right?
No.
Because it's either the link or a password. So the password is only needed if you don't have the link.
Yeah, but we
Yeah, I
don't
haven't been
enter
using
the
the.
client.
Yeah, I haven't been using the link. I've been just signing in. I mean, the password's simple enough, so it's not hard to remember. So
I use my Android phone, and it requires a password each time.
Oh, really? So you have
Yes,
to enter
sir.
the password? Oh, so
Yep.
maybe I just don't see that because I'm the host. So it's a little
Mhm.
bit different because I'm already logged into the host account. Must be
Yeah.
different for me.
To create Zoom meetings, do you have to actually purchase a subscription, or can you get a free subscription that
You
lets
can use the free version if you want to keep it below 40 minutes. If you
Okay.
want to exceed 40 minutes, then you have to have a paid subscription, which is $20 a month. So
Right. Okay.
I opted for that because I realize and recognize that the show is going to have to evolve through this. So we're going to have to use Zoom or some similar technology, but Zoom is like the easy, cheap and cheerful, quickly, set up as a breeze kind of solution. But being able to get Sasha on from out east, for example, going to have a solution in place, and 40 minutes is not going to be enough time. So
of course,
it's certainly worth the investment for us to have that. So.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see the interactions between the three of you when she is not physically present. One of the things it's lovely about up until now is to see the physical interactions between the two of you. And
like all the high fives. Yeah,
and you just
bumps
and just by the two of
Just
you
go like this.
at each other's.
Exactly.
Yep,
GWG, yes, sir.
I do with my colleague in the local town, which is who doesn't work for me, is that we go on the team viewer and I use my webcam, and we open a local video screen thing, and we look at each other through that and talk to on the phone. It's cheaper. We thought about Zoom, but it's cheaper that way because we're about to take about talk about something, especially if you've got a problem with something when it got a big he asked my advice, so
That's interesting. I've only ever really thought of TeamViewer as for like remote support rather than for meetings, but yeah, I guess that could work. Which reminded me, Peter, of what I was up to yesterday. So remember, I had mentioned last week that Code Ninjas was doing a Easter egg hunt virtually because the kids can't actually get together. So that was happening yesterday. So my youngest, who's 9, he couldn't get connected. So I guess our family phone wasn't up to the quality that it needed. So he actually ended up using my phone, which I normally use, which I'm using right now for our Zoom meeting, and I didn't have any kind of backup. So I tried to get on with my PineBook Pro, and it just rejected it. I don't know if there's I haven't spent enough time to look at it, but I couldn't get online. So, but what was interesting is that they used screen sharing within Zoom. So they had all the kids in a Zoom meeting, and then the host shared a screen which was kind of looking out at the world, so that people could also watch what was going on with the Easter egg hunt. So that was kind of cool. They had over 1,000 kids.
Wow.
This was in Minecraft?
They did Roblox and Minecraft.
Oh, nice.
So it started with Roblox. So they did that for, from noon until 2:30. And then at 2:30, they wrapped that up to get ready for the Minecraft. And they started that at 3 and went till 4. So
now, when you had the Mindtest servers running, you had cameras that were virtual points of view that were zooming around all over the place, right?
Yeah.
That was what. So it was the same technology.
I guess they probably just had their player in there somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
And so what the viewers on Zoom were seeing was kind of a wide shot of the world with all the kids running around.
Very nice. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's very good.
That was pretty neat how they use technology to do that. So
how far into the geekery did I get into before the internet quit on me?
Yeah. Where do we get I had a question for you, and I forget what it was.
Oh, okay. I think I got as far as
I was asking about the performance. If there was a reason that you were looking to go with such increments, or like, is it a performance thing, or do you think that the PinePhone or the PineTime could actually do increments even more frequently without it affecting performance? Like, could you do, for example, 10-second increments for the hour hand?
I could, but the thing is that the XY coordinates from the center to wherever the hour hand, extends to, for some period of time, because of the resolution of the screen, it's not going to move anyway. Between the first minute and the fifth minute, it's very likely that the XY coordinate of that hour hand is going to be the same for every time. Often as I want, but I'd be just redrawing the same location each time. It doesn't make any sense to do that.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't care too much about the performance. I'm going to try and make it work first, and it certainly has to look good. It doesn't need to be, so retro that literally the hour hand jumps from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and then 1 o'clock. That would be a bit too crazy. So yeah,
I can't wait to see how this looks.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear that we've had this thing ship.
You got about 1 degree.
It should be shipping soon.
So you got about 1 degree arc to see it move. About 1 degree of arc moving, because you got
agreed.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I just got to figure out what that time interval is. I just haven't done the calculations yet, but I was also looking at the PinePhone, and specifically looking at the Ophono application that I had questions for Bo about a couple of days ago. And so there's not actually much in the way of documentation on the website. So I just went ahead and downloaded the thing. It builds. I got it to build on both my Linux boxes. It won't. I don't think it'll run. I haven't tried to run it yet, but it does build. And I've been researching the code. It uses this thing called dbus. Have you ever used dbus, Robbie, or no? Or anybody?
I know that I have, but I can't recall what it was for or what I was doing. So
dbus looks very much like what I'm used to back when I worked in the Corba world. It's a message bus where you stick a message in one end. If you're a publisher, you'll put a message in one end. And that message bus just lets those messages travel all across the bus, and anybody who's interested in the message will consume that message and will take action on it if they've got any interest on it. So it looks like that's how Ophono works. There is no, as far as I can see, there is no UI component to it. So there's no part to it that says go display this dial pad, the number pad for dialing. There must be a separate application that does that, and that separate application must use the dbus to talk to Ophono and actually trigger off. Now, Ophono, by the way, has to react when, for instance, there's an incoming phone call or a text message comes in or something like that. And so it has to put a message on the bus to say, hey, I got a phone call. What do you want me to do about it? Or I got a text message. Here, go somebody go display this. Here's the message. I don't care about anything after that. Here's the message. Just send it on. It does have functionality to take any contacts that are in the SIM card, which won't be many. It'll be like 200 messages or 200 contacts or something. And it can convert those to a very rudimentary V card and then export those. It can do that, but that's all it does. So there's no other V card or other connectivity in that application that I'm aware of. So
BP9, these are all the things that you're learning just from reading the manuals and reading the forums and watching
reading the source code.
Reading code, okay.
Yes, sir. I downloaded the Ophono
I can't imagine.
Application.
Okay, I can't imagine how much you're going to learn and how quickly you're going to come up with ideas once you have the actual device and can start tinkering.
Oh, I can tinker now because the device will be running Linux, so I can build all this stuff on my desktop and get it to work, and then literally just. The only question I have in mind is when the PinePhone runs. See, Linux by default, you have to log on with a username password before you get any access at all. Now, the PinePhone, if it's running Linux, it must log on with the default user password, and it must be a non-root password. It would be crazy to run as a root user on that device. What are the capabilities there? How do I build this so that it works in a user environment, not a system environment or anything like that? Because I don't want to build a daemon that is going to run and sit in the root context if all it's dealing with is just the contacts that belong to this particular user.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've got to resolve. Yep. So I've got to figure all that out. Figure out how that all runs. And the question there is going to be, under what context does Ophono run? Does it run at the system context, or does it run at the user in the user space? So all these questions I still have to answer, but I'll figure it out.
I can't wait.
It's good fun.
I got to get my hands on these devices too.
Yeah, you'll have to buy you a PinePhone as well now, Rob.
Yeah, there we go.
Write some PHP for it.
And this is a good example of why having access to the source code is important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is what open source is all about. There's no doubt about that, so yeah.
And it'll be, people like us and people like BP9 who will say, oh, I really wish it could do this, so let's make it do this.
Yep.
And then we'll re-release that code to the general public and people can start using that code. So
to be clear, I'm not looking to modify the Ophono application.
Yeah.
I'm looking to build a separate application that it can call if they choose to. And in order to do that, they would have to know where I live on the D-bus, right?
Yeah.
So that they could send a message to the D-bus.
So would you do a PR for Ophono, perhaps, to be able to add that functionality? A pull request. So would you code it into their software and then provide them the code?
No, that's what I said. I'm not looking to modify Ophono.
But they need to be able to communicate with your daemon.
Agreed. I think that somebody who's more familiar with the Ophono code should probably do that. I'll be happy to have a go at it. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I've done that before with Vim, the VI program that runs Brad, somebody in Holland, runs that project. He accepted a patch from me for the syntax files for COBOL, so that Vim could properly syntax highlight a COBOL program. He had all the column names and everything, all the column numbers and all wrong, but that was no trouble to fix that.
I got some changes in Vim myself. I had some problems with the way
we got to wrap up, guys.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're just having fun.
Yeah, I was. My change was just the instructions for how you do translations. I was simplifying what you do a little bit, so it's not as complicated as before.
What the data on the back, Robbie? Is it Darton Ferguson on the back of your chair? What's on the back of your chair?
I don't think it is. But it's similar, isn't it? It is very similar to our fabric. Yeah.
Yeah, but did you know in the 1830s, two English guys made up a story, great Tartans in a book, and sold it to the gentry, and it was the first going out, and they all bought it. After Tartans, they just got it, they're not real, because I'll send you the link sometime, and they made it up, and they created it as a fraud. I made a lot of money out of it as well. The guy who wrote, the Scottish guy, the writer, I think it was blooming name of his thing, around about that time, got touched in as well. But I got the link. I have to put the link on the other thing, and so you all can read it. It's quite
very good.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Happy Easter, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See ya.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.